Hello everybody, welcome to another quick video. I've seen quite a few different sort of adverts going around for these little tiny flashes. And I thought, well, that could be quite handy. Yes, I've got the bigger flashes and yeah, they're always handy that, but they're big and they're bulky and it's something extra that you need to carry around. I generally just use them for macro. I'm not really sort of going to the other side of flash photography, but for macro I do find them useful, especially if you've got some slightly different conditions. So you've got dark shadows, we sort of diving into mushrooms and that sort of thing, so you're deep into sort of some areas and it can give you some real sort of problems with sort of bringing the ISO up. If you've got a flash, that can really sort of bring things out, especially if you're trying to get some of that real detail in things. So when Zeniko actually reached out and said, would you fancy trying one of our small flashes, I said yes, because they're one of the brands that I know of and they've been doing this for quite a while. It's like most people have been copying that. You see quite a few sort of the cheap knockoffs. So when they said, would you like to have a go? It's like, yes, I would. And I think it'd be quite handy. So let's get into this thing and get it out of the box. Okay, so here we have the main box. Really nice presentation. There's the flash inside. Now, I don't know whether you can work out exactly how small this is. Essentially, that's your dimensions there. This thing is absolutely tiny. It's the sort of thing you can stick into a jeans pocket and not even notice it's there. It's sort of loose change material. Really quite tiny. But let's get into the other side of the box as well, see what else is in there. So just remove that, and we've got this cardboard section underneath here. And in here we have a little tiny carrying pouch, which is quite nice, little drawstring pouch. The customary silica gel so things don't get damp in transit. And we have in here a little user manual, which I'll go into the functions on this shortly, but yeah, you don't really need that. And just in the bottom of there, if I can get this to come out, is a nice little USB-C cable for charging. So who's this tiny flash for? Well, anyone who really wants to get into flash photography. Okay, I do mostly macro when I'm using a flash. I don't really use it for much else. But say you don't want to go out and buy a big bulky flash, or you don't really want to take that out. This gives you a great little option just to drop on top of your camera. It's phenomenally powerful for its size, so much so that if you've got like a normal pop-up flash on your camera, which some have, this will outperform it easily. It's so powerful for its sort of demure dimensions. It's really quite deceiving. As far as the sort of the charging goes, you've got a little USB-C port on there that the cable comes with. A regular USB charger on this will take it from 0% up to full in about 4 hours, but normally you won't be running it completely down, so it'll be less than that. It's nothing special as far as sort of PD charge or anything like that. It's just normal. Throw a normal sort of USB connection into it and it'll get it charged. You do have 2 buttons on the back. You've got the power button on the left hand side and an intensity button. Now on the ZF-04 you've actually got 2 intensities. You've got a 50% and a full. That does affect the battery life, obviously. So if you're running at full power, it's rated to 372 shots. That's the maximum that you're likely to get out of it. Obviously you get more if you're on half power, mixing things up. Yeah, it will vary on that, but that's its sort of registered amount that you're going to be able to get out of it. So when you've actually powered this on, you can work that out, you've got green lights on top, and they vary depending on what your power is set up. 1 for half, 2 for full. Really basic, nothing complicated at all. You can actually use the power button itself to actually trigger the flash, like so, and that'll then turn to red on top, which is where it's doing its recharge time. It takes about 3 seconds at full power to actually do its recharge, and that's ready to go again. So don't expect one of these sort of things that will like bam, 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 bam. They don't really exist. It's all about sort of the recharge time on this, and this is pretty quick for some of them. I come from the old days where, like, if you're sort of running a flash up, bam, you're waiting for like 5 or 6 seconds for it to recharge. You go at full power, you're looking at about 10 seconds. So the technology has moved on no end, and for something this size, I think that's really quite good. So you want to get started with this? Literally just take your flash, pop it onto your hot shoe, press the power button, wait for the lights to go green, and you're ready to shoot. Now this does have a little sort of drawback. The first one is it's not TTL compatible. What that means is with a TTL flash, the camera will talk to the flash and it'll do like a test shot and actually set all of its ratings for your aperture and sort of your exposure and stuff like that to get sort of the best that it can out of the flash. So you know, when you hit the shutter, your settings are going to be right. So basically you've got to experiment a little bit with your settings and manually expose just so you've got things right. It's a slight drawback, but for something that size it doesn't really surprise me that it's not in there, especially at this price point as well. So yeah, that is one drawback. The other drawback is because it is quite tiny and it sort of sits very low on top of the camera, as you can see. If you've got a big lens, I mean this is the Olympus 60mm macro. If I'm shooting in front of that, it's not too much of a problem. You know that. If I put something like the 12-100 on, it'll actually hit that on the way in if you're fairly close in, which basically means you're going to get a shadow, and this is what it looks like. So essentially you've got everything sort of lit up, but you've got a shadowed area at the bottom of it. You can get around that by sort of zooming in a bit and stuff like that, but it is a limitation, something you just have to factor in. For a shorter lens, not a problem at all. It's literally just the fact that essentially you're shooting past the end of your lens, and it's like anything, if you put it in the way, it'll cause a shadow. It's just one of those things. You can get away with it with the taller flashes because essentially they drop over the top. That's where, you know, that side of it comes in. Nothing really that I've not seen anybody else mention as well. You could actually use these as a remote trigger. A couple of the other flashes I've got, you can actually put them out separately around the place, put them into trigger mode, and if it receives a flash on their sensors, it'll then trigger those flashes as well. So you can actually almost use this as a studio trigger. It's an option, but to be fair, with how bright this is, you could even use this in the studio environment. I think you could actually get some quite good portrait effects. I'm no portrait photographer or anything like that, but you know, with what I've experienced from it, I think it would work quite well. So size, weight, absolutely perfect. Power and performance is like something I've never seen for this sort of size. Obviously, things like, you know, the GX9, you've got a built-in little flash, which isn't bad, but just compare the size difference. The system on this is about 3 times brighter than what you've got on there, so it gives you more versatility in a very small package at a very, very good price point. Now, obviously this has been sent to me for review, and I'm absolutely blown away with it. It is really, really nice. Build quality is fantastic on it, and frankly, I think it's one of those that's going to be coming out with me, especially as we sort of get more into the winter months, getting out into the woods, getting deep into the fungi and stuff like that, getting shots, because this will actually work for the focus stacking as well. Although it's not TTI, if you've got your settings right, it will still work for the focus stacking. So this on the OM1 is going to be fantastic for it. But I'll pop a link down below. It is an affiliate link as well, so I will get a little tiny bit back if you do go and buy one, but it doesn't cost you any extra, so yeah, just make that clear. Go and take a look. They're cheap, easy to use, pocketable, and absolutely brilliant. And I have to admit, I'm tempted to go and get a few more of these, possibly even the bigger one as well, because they're just really, really nice to use. But if this video has been useful, please do hit that thumbs up. Really does help the video out no end. And if you're not subscribed, please do hit subscribe. You'll see loads more stuff from me, not just the gear side, but yeah, we're out in the Lake District. So many different types of photography. It's not just sort of one thing at all. But go ahead, go check these guys out. take a look and consider it, because if you really do want to get into flash photography, this is a cheap, simple and fantastic way of doing it. But a few shots coming up now that I'm going to take with the macro lens with it. Take a look at them, let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Take care.